This is Chris Gotti Lorenzo and my partner Don Dinero.
Hola.
Yes, hola, que hola. And this is Giving Them the Business. Before we get started, I want to thank you like I want to keep doing every time we start. I want to thank everybody for liking, subscribing, sharing all of these podcasts we make. Make sure you put it out there. Tell us what you think. Please make your comments. Let us know how you feel about the podcast. Ask questions. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. But, I wanted to touch on, with all these things going on, talking to all the people around, always, and it's fear, right? This fear that everyone has. And it could go into, from a government standpoint, they always pump fear. They always want to make us feel like if we don't do something, something's going to go drastically wrong. You know what I'm saying? Again, I don't want to mention, let's use something else from gas. I remember when we had if you remember when we had gas and it was odd number cars could get gas one day, even number cars could get gas one day. And they made you feel like gas is going to run out and we wasn't going to have gas and all these things. And, from an athlete worrying about if they could make it, if they're good enough, that fear from that, and maybe that stops them from being their best or trying their best. These are the things that I wanted to touch on with this fear topic today and just get your understanding or ideas from there.
I mean, most people are afraid, this world we're born into is interesting to say the least. So I think that from the moment you're born, based on who you surround yourself with, I think if your parents or whoever raises you it's fear-based or it's
my mother,
then those are things that will either rub on you, or when you kind of hit the real world, you start to realize that a lot of the stuff that they tell you that's scary is not as scary as it seems, right?
Yeah.
Like you would think. There's a ton of things of sayings or whatever we're raised with that we get, but fear is something that I think they raise us with fear. They tell us, hey, the boogeyman's in the closet. Santa Claus will not, if you behave bad, you'll get coal in your what's that thing that you hang on the stocking, brother? You'll
stocking.
Get coal in
your
stocking.
Yeah.
It's we raise ourselves with a lot of fear.
All the time. Is that crazy?
Now when you think about it, it's kind of
it's funny because you mentioned like our parents, and I always would tell my mother if it was up to her, we would have never did anything because of her fear. Oh, you can't talk that way to the police, or oh, you can't do this, or it was always can't, and worrying about what the perception might be or something like that. And I always would tell her, but her fear from her childhood and growing up, as a black woman, she's from 1933. That's her year. So you just understand that's how old she's, 88, about to be 89. But that fear is built in from back then.
From stories they told.
Oh, yeah.
Of things that were going on in the world, you
yeah.
know? And I can imagine her world growing up, how scary it must have been.
Exactly. And that has been passed on from generation to generation. And here we are in these new, let's say, new territories that we've never been in before as successful businessmen. You know what I'm saying? Like our parents didn't get to reap the same fruits that we are. But it was, part of that fear is what drove me to say we could change that.
I just feel like, I was watching. I was watching the special on Jackie Robinson, and I was watching what he went through from a race standpoint. But then I watched later on, they showed him with his gray hair and his jacket standing next to Martin Luther King, marching on this, and I'm saying, how is it possible that in 2022 we have the same issues we had in 1960s and the 70s? How can we have made no progress? The people have changed some laws, but as far as racism and the equality, when I see these young men today, and whether they're the gang culture is also fear based.
Yeah.
Be like, what do you mean? All right, I have to get on this side because if I don't pick a side, I'm scared of the other side right. So it's kind of like that. And then they're all worried about this is the ops, this is the ops. The only ops I'm worried about is opportunities, right? I need all the ops I can get if you add the opportunity behind that.
So you telling me you looking for your ops?
Oh, I'm looking for them, and I need them.
So are they.
Oh. But what I'm saying is that we've just been, when we look at these poorer communities, if you watch the news every night, you won't leave your house. If you watch what's going on, how about this? If you watch the news in Chicago, you don't want to go to Chicago. And I tell me go to Chicago, it's beautiful. Like, what side of Chicago is it? But there's a side. There's a specific in every city.
We've been to the old
cities
block.
are built in the United States.
No, it's crazy.
Let me tell you, I'm going to say something, and I've traveled, and I sit back, and I'm like, there has to be a master plan of what's going on, and I start to realize that they have, in every city, they have blacks and Latinos in specific areas of the city and of the state, and whether it's with projects, public housing, however you want to call it, and it's like a different form of a slave camp.
Wow.
Think about this. It's a different plantation. I look at those areas as they're heavily policed.
Yes.
Super heavily policed.
Super.
They're usually policed. The fear. Oh, when we talk about fear,
yeah, there you go.
We talk about fear, and we talk about our neighborhoods. What is the number one thing we fear?
The policía.
Holy shit. So, but guess what? They listen. Pac says something, bro, and I'll never forget. He goes, they got tanks. They got these big bazookas. Who they got that for?
Yeah.
Right? They got all this military equipment for neighborhoods that don't have any type of military. I don't care what arms.
Yeah.
Trust me. And I'm talking about, this has been happening for years. This is not something now that's happened. They've kept us in the same neighborhoods. Go back to those neighborhoods. If they're not gentrifying them, it's the same shit. Everybody's broke, poor, dealing with stress, dealing with eating terrible, but they can't afford. The education is terrible. So there's fear of dying, fear of going to prison, fear. Our entire neighborhoods are fear-based.
Man, I remember, I'll give you a story, like with my daughter and my nephews. We're in Saddle River, New Jersey, really nice neighborhood. And they're driving home. Police followed them into the driveway up to the house and didn't believe like they lived there. And they were so afraid to talk back to the police to tell them, like, this is our house. I was like, you got to know you could talk back, but that's the fear. Like, they were so afraid of those police over there in our driveway. And they pulled them over for no reason, just follow them, like, whose house you going to, And they was afraid to say, this is our house. What are you doing? Follow me. What did I do? What do you, and speak back and ask questions because of that fear that we deal with.
Of the
always.
Confrontation, what it could lead to if the officer
doesn't go the right way,
feels a certain way.
That's right.
That a person that doesn't look like him or think like him speaks.
Right? I asked some of my co-workers, or they're not co-workers, we don't work together, but some of my, let's say, white friends that are successful, what would they have done in that situation, or what do they tell their kids?
Or that would never happen to them.
And they always tell me, everyone that I asked said the same thing. They tell them to ask questions. Their kids are instructed by their parents. You ask, what are you doing, officer? Speak to them and speak in that tone back to these cops, because they don't have that same fear in the sense that we do.
Well, because we've been raised or programmed a certain way to fear the police because of all the brutality and all the just bullshit we've had to deal with. Because
Absolutely.
We're over-policed. We're over...
And fear doesn't... I don't want to just keep it on the race thing,
no,
right?
but that's
'Cause
just
fear
from the
goes in-
base. And then we're going to go into sports. Let's talk about these areas that I would say 90% of the athletes that we love
Yes.
that are African American or let's say Latinos in baseball
Sure.
come from super poor neighborhoods.
Yes.
Where besides dealing with that fear, they have this one dream to get out. Think
That's
about
it.
that and the stress and that comes to that, that's all weighed on it. And we discuss once an athlete gets out and let's say he's blessed, God touches him and he's blessed and he goes to
Yes.
the league and he makes some money. The money doesn't trickle down to his kids. He has to go save his mom and his dad first. So money has to go up, grab his mom and his dad, probably move them in, buy mom a car and a dad. So even from that aspect of it, even when you do get a blessing, you're already starting off. And then Pepito, who didn't support you, doesn't understand why you can't give him $12,000 for his bodega that he wants to start.
Maybe
right?
20,000.
Whatever it is. Right? So, you look at all the things and they're all fear-based. Like, that guy is playing for his life of sport because he can't go back.
So let's talk about the fear from an entrepreneurial standpoint. Starting a new business, Cuban Connection, Adventure Music, giving them the business, and going out there to find the resources, then trying to keep pushing it to make sure everyone understands what we're doing and what's the agenda and the purpose of these businesses and why you should support it.
The toughest part is not giving up when shit doesn't go your way.
Man,
Huh?
say
How
that.
many conversations we've had? I remember, I think he was $1 million or $2 million into Adventures, and you're looking at me, and you're like, hey, this shit over here is just coming out. Ain't shit coming in on this end for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was to tell you, we're too far in the desert to
Too
turn
deep.
back now.
Too
Right?
deep.
So I think that you've always, to me, you'll look at the journey and say, fuck, we ain't got camels to go to the desert, but you'll never say I quit.
Right.
You'll never say, oh, right. So I think that in business or in life, I say this, and we'll talk about the book, I got coming out soon. And,
Yes.
and I say that in
16
life,
lessons coming soon.
one of the reasons you are here is to feel fear, anxiety, happiness, sad. All the emotions that energy in motion is an emotion. It's energy that's expressed. And I think that fear and all the other things that we go through on this planet are things that we have to try to conquer.
Man, that's real.
We have to conquer these fears that we have, whether it's, some people are scared of small, minute things, maybe, and getting an education because I might be too old to go, I'm too old to go back to college or whatever, right? We always kind of put that type of stigma on ourselves, regardless of whether we're in business. Some people won't even start a business. I think she mentioned about trying. Some people are so afraid of failing.
That's what I tell
That they don't even fucking try.
the artists, all the artists at Venture Music is like, they're all afraid to actually release their record. They make these records and then they don't want to put it out.
They hoard
just
them,
like-
and they keep them on their
they,
laptop.
They just hold them.
It was crazy. I was talking to my son, Zavin, who I just picked up. Zavin's 21-year-old, bright kid. And I said, Z, what's the difference between me and you? He goes, Dad, you're 53, I'm 21. I says, nah, that age gap, the only difference on those 30 years that I have on you, 32 years, is that I have failed more times than you've tried at this moment.
That's right.
So, we're able to do the things we do, but no one sees the L's we take.
Yeah.
Because we kind of take them on the chin and keep going.
Keep going.
Because
That's a
it's
damn
like
truth.
a football season, right? or any season. So let's say we start off the season and we win the first 3 games and then we lose the next game. So we start off 3-1. Just because we lost the game, we don't fucking quit and tap out. Now we got to sit back and say, why did we lose it? We had a good win. We might lose 3 in a row. You still don't give up. You keep going. And I think the game of life is like any type of sports season. There's going to be one winner at the end of that season, right? One guy's going to come with the trophies. There's going to be some playoff teams that means your potential to go forward. There's going to be some teams that had a great year before, turned out to be shit due to, you're going to have a great year one year. 2021 might have been an outstanding year, and then 2022 might not be your year. So you have to, what's your attitude there? Instead of being scared and say, you know something, this shit didn't work out, I'm done, let me go get a job. It's a lot safer.
What makes you, like for me, my fear was of never being nobody or something. So I had a fear, that was what motivated me. The fear of not being successful, let's say, in whatever I did. If it meant tying up somebody, I wanted to be the best person to tie your ass up. And that's the fear that we had, like in life. Like whatever I did, I always wanted to be the best at it. And again, I would be quiet. I would learn, watch, study, and hone in on my craft, whatever it is. And I'm asking you, what's the motivating point? Because in order to get through that fear, we have to have that understanding and what motivates someone to get through that fear.
Well, you know, I don't get a chance to tell my story, but, you know, I got punched in the face when I was about 11, 12 years old.
Yeah.
You know, it's a situation with my moms and stuff, so you don't know how strong you are
till you go through something.
So being strong is the only option you have.
Yes.
Right. So from that moment on that I kind of had to be on my own, it was like I couldn't lose. Like I had to, everything. So every time I approached something, I remember my first job was like maybe not too far after that, I was selling newspaper subscriptions for the Miami News. So they give you this thing, you walk on, knock on doors, and back then the paper was like $0.25, so you would sell like a $20 yearly subscription, something like that. Probably a month and a half, I was the #1 salesman, winning. I always did everything because of the fear
of not being.
I had no choice but to become somebody in my life. Now, I always knew I was going to be somebody, I just didn't know what. So when the love of football got me through school. Now people say, why were you such a smart guy in school? It's because I always knew that I would always outwork everyone else. So while everyone else, I might be, and then I would outthink. So I would score so high on my test because I would say, all right, well, if I was the teacher, everything I taught this week, so I would create my own test myself, and my test would be harder than the teacher's test. So when the test would come on Friday, so I would always do, because of what happened to me, I always,
with the extra distance,
at everything I had to do. At 16 years old, I have a full ride. My girlfriend tells me, hey, I'm pregnant. Every coach, my dad's in prison, my mom's obviously not around. Every coach mentors that I looked up to told me, you gotta have an abortion, you're gonna throw your scholarship away, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. And my gut was like, I always followed my gut. And look at Jose lived the dream I probably didn't have. So, you know, making a long story longer, I think for myself, what makes me push myself and be fearless, is that I don't have nothing to, like, I have to leave a legacy before I'm gone. Like that was my goal. Someone's gonna hang.
Your name will be remembered.
Oh, you know, and I ain't gonna lie. At this moment, if Orula decided I had to leave today, they will sing my songs on this planet forever. So I did my job.
Yeah.
But my true legacy is that I think this next step I'm gonna take, with the wisdom and the stuff I've come, like I could pass along so much wisdom to younger kids that don't have. They have the enthusiasm they have, because that's the trick that God plays. When you're young, you get wisdom. When you're older, you have all the wisdom and you don't have the energy. That's why you have to work out and stay right, so we can have. See, we have this energy. We could be here at 2 a.m. still doing the shit we do.
That's right.
You know, but and I think that's the key. I think being fearless is the only way to go through life. Someone's
gonna watch this, and this is gonna be when you said to pass that wisdom on. They're gonna catch this wisdom we're passing.
You know, I just
because this episode with fear, I related to my kids, and I'm sure yours as well. All the different challenges they're going through, and as parents, we want to help them. We want to make sure they get the best opportunity, understand all of the obstacles, and then deal with their fear and get through it. Their fear of, what am I going to do? if this doesn't work, if that doesn't work, all those variables, and I'm sure that anyone listening right now understands that fear.
I'm gonna tell
at
everyone
every level
that's listening, everything you ever want out of life is on the other side of that shit you're scared to do.
That's right.
Everything you want to accomplish in your life is on the other side of fear, of whatever you're scared. Whether you're scared to leave your job because of, whether you're scared to leave this relationship that you don't know, no longer love the person, but you're in it for whatever you're going through in your life. If you do not make that move, then you will live with what's called regret.
Yes.
Right? When you sacrifice your dreams to help make someone else's dreams come true, two things happen. The law of karma will make it happen for you, or you give up. You help someone do it, you give up, and now you have regret because you're like, man, I should have never helped that person I could have helped. Right? There's things, and you see a lot of people, they will sit here, and it's 2022, and they will tell you why they're stuck in 2022 because of something that happened to them in 1998.
Yeah.
And they'll fucking tell you, 1998, I blew my knee out. I blew my knee out, man. I would have been out. Right, they would have.
I've fallen and can't get up.
You know something? In 2002, I swear to God, Ja Rule was going to sign me.
Yeah.
I was there. I had the ink to paper. I spilled some ketchup on it. My foot, I broke my ankle. I couldn't get on the subway. Right? They're going to tell you, right, instead of understanding.
That is so real, man.
No, but listen. They're going to sit here and then really that's their fear.
Yes.
Their fear gives them an excuse to go throughout life to say, hey, I'm not further along in life. Because my mama, my daddy, the money was supposed to come to me, but my brother took his sign and left whatever reason.
That's right.
And then you see a list, and then you see you do not want to be 65 years old. If you're blessed to live to 60 or 70,
yes,
and because of your fears, not try half the shit you could have tried, and then when you die, and you cross that Milky Way, and you run into the guy you could have been if you would have took all those chances, oh man, they might kick here. Go back. You need to go back and try this shit again.
Do it again.
Here you go. But this time you're going to be born in Africa.
Yeah, we're going to make it even worse. Not to disrespect Africa.
No, I mean,
just
from a starting
opportunities.
Point. From an opportunity aspect, from them ops.
Yeah, from the ops.
Opportunities.
Yeah, the ops is for real.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's when you look at the long, just human beings in general, how far we've come. When you look at a guy like Elon Musk who's talking about Mars and this, he's fearless. You are fearless. Your brother, many people who are here, sometimes I've had discussions with Ish and with things, and just pushing the envelope, because when someone speaks to you, they will tell you their fears without understanding that they're telling you their fears as to, man, but if I do this, I might not be able to do this. Right? And it's okay, because guess what? I have fears too.
We all have fears.
I just have the wisdom to
push through,
face my fears head on, and keep pushing.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say some shit that maybe about a month ago, I'm watching TV and I'm like, fuck, I can't really see from my right eye too good.
Yeah.
And so I go call the VA. I'm a vet. I call the VA. I said, maybe I need some new glasses. I go, they tell me I have a fucked up retina.
Yeah.
Right? My retina is fucked up. And they was like, let me take your blood pressure. And I'm not going to lie, I was probably about 227 pounds. I'm going like 3 weeks ago, 227 pounds. And my shit was about 160 something over. It wasn't crazy, but they say, hey, we need you to control your blood pressure. We don't know if that's what it's from. It could be anything, right?
Sure.
My brother, I lost immediately. I went with most people be like, I think I'm at like 209 right now.
Right.
I lost fucking, do the math, 18 pounds, and my blood pressure is regular now. It's back to normal.
Nice.
So, and I'm not, they wanted me to take the shot. They say, I'm going to take this shot in your eyeball.
Yeah.
I said, shot in my eyeball? I'm like, fuck that. Now I'm doing Reiki. I don't know if you know what Reiki is.
No.
It's this Indian healing.
Oh, yeah.
With your hand in these crystals. And little by little, I'm going to try that before I go get a shot. But what I mean by that is fear. If I would have been feared by my health, I'm attacking the head. I told the doctor, I said, I don't need a pill. Pills 180. I said, but if I take a pill, doc, let's be honest, I'll be taking the pill the rest of my life. That's lazy man shit. What I got to do is change
Get
a
to
couple
work.
habits of mine, right?
You gotta get to work.
That's simple things like that. And that's the difference. If I was not, my brother died at 53 years old.
Right.
And his biggest fear was dying, but it didn't match up. He didn't take action. So when you're going through health issues and the doctor says you shouldn't eat a certain way and you still eat a certain way,
You glutton for the punishment.
my brother, but what's going on? Like there's certain things. So there's two words. There's a discipline and a patience you have to have in order to conquer your fears, because it might take time.
Yes.
Right? It might take time to get over that wall or that hump.
Right.
Right? And then you have to have the discipline of every day knowing something better's coming, knowing that this is not for me. I deserve better, and taking action. And then kind of that, try to be happy every day. There's a lot of shit going on in the game of life right now. You feel me? Right?
Be happy you're breathing.
Right. So I'm in a
above
constant,
ground.
Chris, I'm in a constant array of finding myself and growing physically, mentally, spiritually, but so I can pass it along to as many people, from friends.
Facts.
Me and you talk
We walk in the
many
same
times,
walks.
and we're done, and you'll be like, "Damn, D, you know, thank you for the talk." And again, I don't know the vibe. I was at the beach the other day, and I just started talking to this dude. Guy, his son's going to Notre Dame. Next thing you know, guy's telling me, "Yo, thank you. You have so much wisdom."
Yeah.
I don't know what I have. I just know that if you ask me, would you rather be on stage performing or on stage talking this shit and giving people this message? This point in my life, I'm not done performing. I just booked a show. I think I'm going September, but I'm still I'm gonna take the money. But what I mean is that I really, the direction I want to go is help people. When Bruce says, "Yo, I've been watching your
daily,
right," in which I don't do daily, but
talks.
okay, but that to me, he says, "Oh, I did a Dinero. I want to be." To me, the inspiring aspect is just to give someone. I have a way of getting with words to get to you.
Sure, you do.
You know, and that, but my thing is to inspire as many people to go ahead and pass along whatever. We are human beings, and the only way we've gotten here, and I say that in my book in lesson number 1, is human beings need other human beings to survive. Without knowledge, without ideas, there's no original idea. We didn't invent the podcast.
Exactly.
We just added our two. You didn't invent the music business or hip hop.
Not at all.
We add. Every
Just my
idea
spin.
is synthetic.
It's my
and we
spin
add,
on it.
Yes, and
That's
you add
it.
your little spin and you
spit
spit
out.
on it.
Woo-woo.
And you do it. And that's kind of what we're doing. And again, being afraid is scary. Right,
Let that sink in.
No, because I conquered it so much that when I think of doing something, when me and you discuss, we're not scared. We're just like, are we gonna have the finances for it or the time?
The time.
Those are the two questions, and then we figure out, who's gonna come on board. Because a lot of
That's
these
it.
guys, they believe in us too. They here when their
Absolutely.
time, they leave their families. This drives from
Absolutely.
fucking Alabama, where the fuck he's at now. Right? No, I'm just saying, they're all driving.
No, that's
Because-
the truth.
And not for nothing, and I want to say everyone to see this, because we also believe in you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
We believe in you. You know what I'm saying? Because you called me today, and when
Yeah.
you call, everybody moves for you. You're the only one that, right? And we believe in you because you're also fearless, and you help everyone kind of conquer their fears. Standing next to you, it's like it makes
Strength.
people feel like, and together we're stronger.
It's
So
strength in numbers, and that's what
we
doing.
need each
So,
other to conquer fears.
As a leader, when you talk about fear as a leader, like there is nothing I think about of fear in that nature.
I agree with you.
As a leader, I
You're
walk
a
through
warrior
walls.
of, I consider you in Ifa, we would consider you what's called a warrior of the light. See, on the planet, there's certain type of people that walk down on this planet, right? So there's a lady in the corner getting robbed. And there's 3 men across the street. One guy's gonna call the police. One guy's gonna pull out his phone. One guy's gonna go run across the street and handle his
Sure.
business. You're gonna run across the street.
Absolutely.
That's called being fearless, right? Right? And there's nothing wrong with the guy who grabs his phone and that, but no one took action to really handle. Someone's gonna report it,
Yes.
but they're not gonna take action. A fearless person doesn't even think twice and takes action. And I mean that in anything.
Yeah.
I've seen you help people that you just met.
Yes.
Whether it's give them $20 advice or a ride or a job or an opportunity. And I think, and no one really, we always discuss this, and I spend many hours by myself. Some of the greatest conversations I have is with myself.
Same here.
And I think that's why you and I are able to.
Same here.
Because one of the biggest fears people have, and this is going to hit people deep. You know what's one of the biggest fears people have? Probably the biggest fear they have? Is to be by themselves. Mm. How many people can actually go in a room and be by themselves and build? And
like what they see, hear.
No. How many people wake up in the morning and they brush their teeth? But hopefully you do in the morning.
Hopefully
you look at yourself in the
mirror.
And you look at yourself in the mirror. How many people actually like themselves? Mentally, physically.
Everything. All parts.
I'm here to say, bro, I want to say I'm at the point in my life that I love myself. Yeah. And I can't, because I love, at the end of the day, I'm playing with house money, brother. Mm. The rest of my life is just, it's all I'm
extra.
Not worried about, I'm not worried about, let's say money per se. It's crazy because Irv always says, when we have conversations, I'll be telling you, Dinero money. He's the only one that says, we're going to get money, and my name is Dinero. And I never discuss money.
Never talk money.
I always discuss. I told Irv, if the project hits, obviously it's gonna
make money.
Okay, right. So again, he catches me at 22 years old. I'm in Atlanta right now in a movie. I would have had Irv put me in a movie right now. Persistence. Oh no, he would have been.
You're in every Tales.
Directing one, executive producing one, starring in one, co-starring. Hey, Irv, you got to put a little Spanish in this one. Like that would have been. He would have been. I love him, but he's. How I got everyone that knows me. I am the. If I want something, either you fucking burn your phone.
You're coming.
Nigga, I'm not stopped till the no is no. Like, I'm not fucking with you, no. And it's hard. That no is hard.
Yeah.
Then I get your name and date of birth and the yes comes. But that's a whole different ballgame.
Let's not talk about
what I'm saying is that I think the biggest fear people have is to be by themselves. And if you can conquer that, and me and you have these discussions, why are we by ourselves? Because as leaders, this is why me and you get along. Because I'm the one guy we could come and we can actually bounce ideas intellectually going forward without being scared.
Without being
because we've never
intimidated or nervous about what the idea is. Freedom.
Of me and you never bounce an idea and we'd be like, you think it's going to work?
Never.
Please, I got rid of my last relationship because 2.5 years in, when I come up with an idea, is, do you think it's going to work? And after a while, I would go in the room and say, this shit ain't going to work.
Yeah.
Me and you ain't going to work. I can't have somebody, if I tell you I'm going to create a string that's going to go from here, you're going to hold a can and I'm going to run it to the moon and talk to you, and you tell me you think it's going to work, I can't fuck with you.
Hold that string.
Hold that fucking can and that string and talking it to you, hear my voice.
Till you hear me.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
Have faith.
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of the people I want to be around. And
that's the type of people you have to have around.
And I'm around. And then when I'm not around, I'm by myself. That's why when you mention Everlast, life isn't. He's one of the most intelligent, creative human beings, but he's sometimes still on his. He ain't got military, but he be on his jailhouse military, right? But that's what I love about him. You know why? Because when he says it, because when he's fearless. And when he says, I like people that say with it. When he says, hey, I'm gonna pick you up at 3.
He's there.
No, at 2:45, I could call him, and he tells me I'm 5 minutes away. He's not saying, oh, I'm leaving my house now. Oh, I forgot to call you. I'm going to run. Right? All those little things, no, because it takes a discipline in little things in life, I see, for you to be that guy, for you to get to where you need to get to. So,
you know why? Real always wins.
Real always wins. No, real always wins.
That's his book, everything, his brand. His real always wins.
He's real, and inside that facade, it's just another scared dude trying to make it.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
But he's fighting through it.
Oh, no, he's fighting through his fears.
Man, I watched his growth and development. So
incredible.
Again, he gets through his fears.
He does. And that's the growth. We all have fears we must conquer. Some people have fear physically how they look, and they won't go to the gym. They won't do a fucking sit-up and a push-up, but they'll go to the gym and say, yo, I'm fat. And then they'll go eat the cake, and then it's contradictory to what they want to accomplish, but they look in the mirror every day
and don't like it.
So it's impossible feeling good about yourself if you don't feel how you look.
Right.
It's impossible. It's impossible to have bad thoughts and feel good. And if you look at something, especially when you're saying there's some girls or guys who got how many of our guys are fucking fat and they love themselves and they're wearing the new kicks and you can't tell them they ain't sexy. That's different. And there's some big girls that's attitude. That's different. Yeah, I'm big, papi. I'm gonna feed you good, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, okay, that makes them. That's different. But if you're a person that feels sad and depressed because you speak to them, oh, I don't like how I look, I'm like this, oh, the doctor said, and you're not doing nothing about it,
You're in trouble.
then you have a lot of work. There's fears. There's a fear of getting started. Oh, another fear of starting from zero.
From nothing.
A lot of people don't leave relationships because I got to start all over
Start
again.
all over.
A lot of people don't leave their job because I got to start all over again. The fear of starting new, the fear of trying to humble yourself and starting a business that you don't know, the fear of going to school and asking, I don't know, can you help me?
Man,
I'm saying this is crazy, but
I'm telling you, this episode right here
yeah, I mean,
is gonna help a lot of people.
I hope so. I hope the key is everything that you're scared of to do it. I ain't talking about skydiving. I'm scared of skydiving. I'm not gonna fucking skydive.
Right.
Because I'm not gonna accomplish nothing with that fear that I conquer. Right? Oh, I skydive. No, I'm still gonna be scared to skydive.
See, we are exactly the same.
Right? No, because
sense.
no, that's it's
I said, what does that accomplish? Me jumping out of plane.
okay, well, I don't.
Except
But listen,
jumped
I'm not
out of
afraid
plane.
to fly.
Means nothing to
Listen,
me.
I'm not afraid to fly. I done repelled out of Chinook helicopters. I'm not,
Yeah.
and I was scared to death, but I faced my fears. I'll never forget in the Army, the Indian Geronimo jumped off of this mountain in Oklahoma. He was in Oklahoma, we're in Fort Sill, we're in some mountain, and they call it the Geronimo Mountain because when he jumped over with his horse, he landed in the river, but he jumped over, he said, Geronimo. That's where you get the Geronimo.
Sure.
Right? So we had to rappel off that mountain. I swear to God, that shit was like the Empire State, some shit like that. I was the first one because I couldn't stand the anxiety of waiting to then go. So I told the drill sergeant, I want to go first. And everyone was like, this nigga's crazy. No, I'm getting this shit out of him.
Getting it over
I'm
with.
repelling down that mountain and I'm looking back and I'm like, but once I did it and the other shit, I didn't want to do that again, but if I had to, when I had
You could do it.
The Army showed me how to face my fears. It didn't matter what I did because you're looking at the next guy and saying, if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Man, great talk here. Great episode. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
Chris.
it. The fear episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, you know what I mean, share.
Yeah,
Giving
don't
them
be
the
listen.
business.
Don't be scared to like.
Yeah,
Don't be
don't
scared
have
to
any
subscribe.
fears. And definitely don't have no fear to share.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Spread the word. You know what I'm saying? This is Chris Gotti Lorenzo and my partner Don Dinero, and we signing out. Giving them the business.
Giving them the business.